Throughout the Sonic franchise over the years, we've had to go against many different enemies from the games, some of which you can beat without even thinking, and others require more patience and thought. Quite a few of these enemies though, however, can be very annoying and can make the game way more frustrating than I think they originally intended. Which brings me to making this video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at, in my opinion, the top 10 most annoying Sonic enemies to deal with from the games. I'm pretty sure you'll recognize at least a few of these, and let me know if you agree at the end. Number 10. The Red Killer Bees from Sonic Unleashed. The Red Killer Bees are some of Dark Guy's minions that are found in Dragon Road and Arid Sands Night. The versions I'm referring to are the red ones. There are two types, the Yellow Killer Bees and the Red Killer Bees. The reasons why I find them annoying apply to both, but they're worse in the Red Killer Bees. These enemies are the bane of those two stages because they love to dodge all of your attacks. They will sting you when you're not expecting it, and when you punch them, they just love to fly up. They're made extra annoying as they're always paired up with the wizards that heal them or give them buffs. However, they don't have too much health and they don't do too much damage. They can actually be dealt with pretty easily by throwing stuff at them, so they're not too dangerous. Also, the fact that they're an enemy for the Werehog means you never have to rely on having rings to defeat them, so they're just at number 10. Number 9. Zero from Sonic Adventure. Zero is the first E-Series robot made by Eggman. He kidnaps Amy in her story and Sonic's story and follows her through her stages by briefly attacking her. He makes the stages harder than they should be and he always knows where you are. The main thing that makes him annoying is the fact that he's unkillable. No matter how many times you attack him or send him flying, he will always come back throughout the whole stage and every stage that she has. Granted, she only has 3, but still. I actually found him more annoying when I was younger because he was actually kind of scary because he would just startle you sometimes. The saving grace though is that he doesn't actually attack you that often, and if you're fast enough, he'll basically never bother you. Even when he does lock onto you, you can dodge him pretty easily because he has a very, very long windup. And for those reasons, he's at number 9. Number 8. Egg Hammer. The Egg Hammers are from Sonic Heroes and you find them in Lost Jungle, Mystic Mansion, Robot Storm, and Final Fortress. Oh my days, I hated these guys when I was younger. Mainly because I was an idiot and didn't know what I was doing, but I think anyone new coming to the game will hate them as well. The Egg Hammers can only be hurt by the power type, not the speed type, not the fly type, only the power type. So if you lost them early in the level, you're kind of They also have stupid high health and have this really annoying spin attack that if you get caught in, you basically get screwed over and will end up losing a life. And by the way, all that I was just saying about it applies to the normal version of the Egg Hammer. Then there's the Heavy Egg Hammer, which is basically the exact same, but now it's given a helmet. Again, because I was kind of stupid as a kid, I found it annoying because I didn't know how to remove the helmet. And I didn't realize that it only came off when the Egg Hammer fell or when I used the tornado jump. In fact, I used to always use Team Blasts immediately whenever I'd see these guys, especially in Final Fortress. And oh my days, why were these guys in Robot Storm? Number 7. Shellcracker from Sonic 2. Oh my days, these freaking guys. The Shellcrackers are these crab-like enemies you find in Metropolis Zone in Sonic 2. When Sonic runs up to them, they'll punch you at like a million miles an hour before Sonic even has time to react. And for some reason, they're always placed in the most annoying spots, which make them 10 times worse than they need to be. And somehow, of all the enemies in this zone, these aren't even the worst. Not to mention, they're also in places with usually low ceilings, so you can't even jump over them. However, the main problem with them is just where they're placed. If they weren't placed in areas like this, they actually wouldn't be too bad. But because they are, is why they're at number 7. Number 6. Artificial Chaos. Every variant. These guys are really annoying because they appear in almost every stage in space in Sonic Adventure 2. There's typically 2 types of these guys. One just stands on the ground or sometimes it's from a ceiling, and they're usually really hard to hit. The other version of them floats in the air, which means they can appear anywhere. There's also another type called the guard type, which can also retract its head into its body, which is the only way you can attack it. What makes these guys really annoying is that they're usually always placed behind a door, which as soon as it opens, it will immediately attack you. So if you have no rings, you will immediately just get sniped from behind the wall, because they will almost always have faster reactions than you if you're not expecting it and it's your first time playing the stage. Another thing is if you're playing as Sonic or Shadow, for some reason Sonic or Shadow will tend to just homing attack into the body instead of the head. And I know I already said this, but they appear in 9 stages in Adventure 2. 10 if you include Cannon's Call. In Eternal Engine especially, they're usually placed in really annoying areas, which can cause some unfortunate deaths if you weren't careful with the doors. Yeah, they deserve this spot. Number 5. Tank from Sonic Frontiers. Specifically the Tank Plus variant from Final Horizon. Now if I'm gonna be honest, the regular tank enemy from the base game wasn't actually too bad. Sure, it had high health, but it wasn't actually too difficult to take down. In fact, out of all the Guardians in the base game, I think it was actually one of the easier ones. It's a very different story for Tank Plus though. Now Final Horizon is already notorious for it being way more difficult than the base game, but Oh my days, I was not prepared for the enemies. Tank Plus is similar to the normal version. However, it has a laser now, it attacks way faster, and has an unbelievably higher amount of health. If you don't go in with a max level Sonic, it will take you a ridiculous amount of time to defeat it. Not to mention, its attacks are very quick, and if you're not careful, you can easily die. Even with a max level Sonic, it still takes quite a while to defeat it. Honestly, probably longer than a lot of bosses in the series. This would be way higher, but the only reason why it's only at 5 is because you don't actually have to fight these things. You can just avoid them. But if it wasn't for that, these could be fine for number 1. Number 4. Asteron from Sonic 2. Again, another badnik from Metropolis Zone. The Asteron are the star-shaped badniks usually found in Metropolis Zone. They have appeared since, but they're mostly known for this zone. They normally hide in the walls where you can't actually hurt them, but will explode when you get close. Usually they're in the areas where you use the gear to ascend up the screw. They'll sometimes hit you if you're not careful, and then you'll end up going all the way back down. These guys are usually unavoidable, and they can almost never be killed because they're always in the walls. They are way too frequent in Metropolis Zone, and they make that zone even more annoying than it already is. If you are careful, it is possible to dodge their attacks though, but it can be hard for a first time player. Number 3. Egg Robo, specifically from Sonic Superstars. I know we complain about the games being too easy, but wow, what an overcorrection. The Egg Robos appear in every stage during Trip Story, which is already way harder than it's supposed to be. And unlike their original versions, they will actually aim and snipe you out of the air. And they shoot pretty quick. By themselves, they're not actually that annoying, but the fact they appear everywhere in the whole story makes them that much more annoying. The amount of deaths I had from them alone personally is way too high, and I assume most people probably did as well. Number 2. Slices from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Once again, we're in Metropolis Zone, and Slices, oh man, these have been hated by the community, and I am definitely far from the first person to express their hate for these enemies. Placed in the most infuriating position, Slices will make Metropolis Zone an absolute misery for you. I remember playing Sonic Lost World in 2013 and seeing Slices again, and I genuinely felt like I had the 100-yard stare flashback. Thing is, I don't know if it's the way they're coded, but the way they attack, the blades that they fire will home in on you, which makes them almost impossible to avoid, especially with the low ceilings they're usually found in. Even if you get behind them, they sometimes boomerang back. The one saving grace about them, once they throw their slices, they can't reload them. That's it, and they're just defenseless. But they just have to go in number 2. Holy crap. Number 1. The Snowstalker from Sonic Lost World 3DS. Holy crap! This piece of snowball is the absolute bane of my childhood, and is just one of the many reasons I absolutely despise the 3DS version of Lost World. The Snowstalker is a sentient snowball which I presume is operated by Xena and is exclusive to Frozen Factory Act 3. Thankfully. The Snowstalker's main method of attacking you is by bumping into you and freezing you in place for a few seconds, before Sonic can eventually bust out. In fact, it doesn't even cause you to lose any rings. So at first, you may question, what's wrong with this? That doesn't sound so bad. Well, the problem is because of the stage that it's from. Frozen Factory Act 3's main stage gimmick is pushing around snowballs until they increase in size to activate switches or to fill in activation holes. Pushing around these snowballs is slow and takes time to get them to size. The Snowstalker is what makes this already painful and frankly quite boring gameplay 100 times more annoying than it should be. Whenever the Snowstalker hits the snowball that you're pushing, it completely destroys it and makes you lose progress, meaning you have to go back to the snowball spawn point and try again. This gets old fast. The Snowstalker is also faster than you are when pushing a snowball, so it will always catch up to you and you'll have to leave the snowball and take the freeze attack to stop it from destroying your progress. Even when not pushing a snowball, the Snowstalker could cause major problems by stun locking you next to a wall for, while not permanently, long enough to become very annoying, especially when it happens multiple times. Let me not forget to mention that it's unkillable. It will follow you throughout the whole stage and cannot be destroyed permanently at any point. Even if you manage to knock it over the edge, it just spawns back. Believe me, I tried. Don't be surprised if you end up getting a time over from this stage because it loves to waste your time. Yeah, without a doubt, this is my personal number 1 most annoying Sonic enemy. Not even close. Only saving grace is that it only appears in this one stage in this one game. And with that, you've got my top 10 most annoying Sonic enemies. I bet you probably find some of these just as annoying as I do, and if there's any you think that I missed, please let me know in the comments. And also let me know if there's any other rankings you want me to do. This was pretty fun, and take care.